Thank you, Bishop, and to the members of the 159th Session of Virginia Conference on the retirement services as pertains to the Andy annuity. I shall submit it as information only because of the status of it. The Andy Church, under the Legacy Program, which is the old program that most of us put our money into the annuity, you should have received a letter dated March 24th, 2025 from the Andy Church Employee Retirement Fund Litigation Settlement Administration. If you received that letter, just raise your hand. All right, there's still a lot of hands still down. But by way of summary of that letter, it is notice of class action settlement and fairness hearing. Point number one of that letter, a settlement has been reached between the Andy Episcopal Church, the Andy Ministerial Retirement Annuity Plan, the Andy Church Department of Retirement Services, the Andy Church General Board, the Andy Church Council of Bishop, collectively as the Andy defendants and the plaintiffs of all claims. The plaintiffs are assessed against the Andy defendants in a class action lawsuit. Those lawsuits are pending and still pending in the United States District Court of the Western District of Tennessee. It also says to us, by way of summary, a separate settlement has been reached between the defendant Newport Group and the plaintiffs of all claims. The plaintiffs are asserting against Newport and between the Andy defendants and the Newport of all claims that they assert against each other in the same class action lawsuit pending in the United States District Court of the Western District of Tennessee. And by way of conclusion, the plaintiffs have agreed to the settlement to avoid costs and risks associated with continuing the lawsuit against the settlement defendants and to allow the settlement class members to receive compensation. And if you are a member of that settlement class, just by being on record, whatever the outcome of that litigation will be in the settlement, that you will receive a portion of that settlement. Every participant in the retirement annuity program will receive that. But it still remains under litigation with the judge of Western Tennessee. And if you want more information, that can be reached on the website, AMEchurchRetirementSettlement.com, AMEchurchSettlement.com. And I'll give you just a little bit more information. But the bottom line is it's still under litigation in Western Tennessee. And we're just going to continue on to pray that God will, as the General Conference said, will make all participants whole again. And we're just going to believe the Lord that we will willing to do for the night, but joy will come again. And so that is the report for information purposes. I cannot address your questions, but I'm sure you may have questions, but I'm going to yield to Bishop because I'm not authorized by the Andy Retirement Service to answer any questions while the matter is under litigation. Thank you so much, Bishop.
Let me give you an update on where we are as it relates to the Department of Retirement Services and the annuity. As you may know, the Council of Bishops, the General Board, did reach a settlement with the plaintiffs in the amount of $20 million, which is supposed to be satisfied by the end of May, and at this time we expect that the judge in the matter will approve that settlement. Let me also add that the Council of Bishops and the General Board has reached a settlement with one of the companies which handles some of the retirement money, Newport Group. We have reached a settlement with them where they agreed to provide to the AME Church $40 million towards the settlement. And we are now preparing to go into the CK settlement with Symmetric, which is the company which handles the largest amount of the AME funds. And it's our hope that we will reach a settlement with them within the next couple of months so that within the next couple of months, it's our hope that the total amount which is needed to restore the annuity account to the amount it's supposed to have, so that everyone will be able to be made whole, will be done within the next several months. That is our expectation. And let me add that it's my expectation, and it's the bishop's expectation, and the general board's expectation that the funding to restore the account will be satisfied within the next several months. Those funds will be placed in the West Path account, which is the new program company, which also handles the retirement system for the United Methodist Church. What each person is to receive to be made whole will be made between the department and the participant. All right, I'll entertain any questions anyone has. Yes, sir.
Hey, Mike, I may have a microphone or a microphone. Just an addendum to what you said, Mr.
That microphone over.
You can use this.
Most of the persons noted are one of the 10 lead plaintiffs in the lawsuit. Just an addendum to what the bishop said. Yes, a settlement has been reached with Newport and with the church. Yes, as of yesterday, the judge made the decision that we will, if we have not reached a settlement within the next several months, that we will go to court in April of next year. That's as of yesterday. Now, Bishop, the question that I have, and my unwillingness, has to do with the fact that, and even before I get to that, West Path is an outstanding organization. I've done thorough research to make sure before I even got up here to say this, that they're an outstanding organization. My problem is that it's taking from 90 to 120 days to get our funds into West Path. That's lost interest on the path, on the part of the pastors. We have to do better.
Let me comment. I'm not sure, because I really just getting here, the process which is causing a delay with the second district. I know the 6th district where I served, when the funds were collected, we had a committee from the 6th district who the checks were turned into, and the checks were immediately turned over to West Path. I'll be meeting with the 4th and the 2nd district to see how that process goes. But if there's any reason as to why it's delayed, then we will do whatever needs to be done so that it's not delayed. We don't want anybody to lose any interest, and I think that is a legitimate question. So since I'm just getting here, I will be meeting. In fact, I spoke with the elders of Friday, I guess it was Wednesday. I said, we'll see if we can really expedite that. But I'm hoping we will not have that same concern by the planning meeting in June.
Bishop, might I add, West Path has indicated that the funds can go directly from the local church versus a consolidated report be provided to the district.
I've not had conversations with West Path, so I have no doubt that may be the case. But let me simply say this as the bishop, at least for the first time, I want it to be let me simply say my concern is not only the ministers, but the fact that these funds are provided by the churches. And so I think these churches ought to be sure that the money they are providing for their pastors get where they're supposed to be, and it happens in a timely manner.
Last comment I'll make, Bishop, is that I noticed that you said that the plaintiffs or the participants will be made whole. I would not have people to be disillusioned to think the whole is really 100%, because 33% of that settlement is going to the attorneys. They need to know that.
Let me say this again. That's something over which the Council of Bishops has absolutely no control, and I'm one of those who has been fussing with really the attorneys on both sides, because the only ones making money out of this are the attorneys. And I say that on both sides. Because I think we were in a meeting, and I had a big blow up, and there were some other of my colleagues who joined with me, because we were paying attorneys and participants in the program and getting more money. And we seem to have no problem paying the attorneys. We have a problem paying the participants. Likewise, that same problem persists on the other side. So as soon as we can get this settled, we'll stop paying attorneys. And it's my hope, and I admit that it's not realistic and naive on my part, but I would hope that the attorneys on both sides, when this is resolved, would say that the most important people in this process are the program participants, and we will write off some of this amount to go back into the program. Now, I admit that's naive on my part, but I also know the Lord does still work in a mysterious way. So,
Bishop, I might add, there have been 56 depositions. Of the 56 depositions, I've only missed 3 that have gone anywhere from 5 hours to 8 hours. Reverend Boyd and I have been in contact with the attorneys on the plaintiff's side at least once every other week, pressing them to do the very best that they can do for all involved. Thank you, Bishop.
Yeah, let me also add this. This helps me to get a little bit out of my system. All of us in this need to do some things which are just simply common sense. The last general conference in Columbus, I wrote a bill that would have dealt with the matter of oversight. And the unfortunate thing is, I think that would have been one of the most important things we could have done, but the general conference did not do the bill. So we still have work to do when it comes to oversight. That's why I said earlier today that the laity of the church need to understand how important they are.
Right.
Unless we do something about oversight, we're going to stay in a mess. Oversight is critically important.
Yes.
And then we also say, I have absolutely not one single problem with the plaintiffs in this case, because I think somebody needs to do something.
Amen.
Right? So I have no problem, and I just want to say that those who have sacrificed their lives for this church get what they're supposed to get.
Amen.
Let me also add that I'm pulling for y'all, because I retire in 2028. I want this done.
Bishop, I want it done. My family want it done more than I want it done because it has consumed me for the last several years.
When is it done? Let's go to lunch and we'll flip a coin and see who pays.
Well, Bishop, you're the bishop and I'm the pastor, so amen, somebody. I'm sure you're going to take care of me. You are my pastor. You know,
really sure of that?
you are my pastor. And because you are my pastor, you know, as pastor, you know, when my members go out, I have to take care of them.
Y'all putting them minutes that we don't flip a coin. Now, if he wins, which you prefer, McDonald's or Burger King? No, in fact, I'm going to tell you now, I will promise you that one of the plaintiffs said, because I do think y'all did a service to the church, I'll pay for you.
If you win, I will invite you to my home. And you will have a 7-course meal at my home. Can I cook? Amen, somebody. Because at my home, from out of my kitchen, every week, or at least once a week, out of my kitchen, not out of the church kitchen, out of my kitchen, we feed anywhere from 15 to 25 people. And they get everything from smoked ribs to you name it, chicken, the whole 9 yards. And it's grown a lot of the vegetables in my backyard. So you get fresh stuff when you come to my house.
Well, as a witness, I want Reverend Boone to come with me.
And I heard you say this to my best friend that drove you down here earlier, that you love sweet potato pie.
Oh, I do.
Okay. And so tomorrow you will have a sweet potato pie from out of my garden.
You're just a good man. I tell you.
Before Reverend Wade leaves, I had a question that maybe you may have some input.
Two questions. One of the settlements by the AME Church against the other defendants.
Yes.
One of them is 40 million. Will all of that go into the retirement fund, or will the church seek to recoup money that they have paid?
All of that will go into the retirement fund.
Thank you. Second, has there been any objections at this point filed with the court?
None that I know of.
All right, thank you. All right.
Bishop, we do want to, if you could just encourage those who are now contributing or not contributing to WebPath on the, to do so. We're disciplined so that they will have something at the end as well. We do have a lot of discouraged people who do not fully trust the ending retirement system. But New Life program is an excellent one offered by Westline. The statistics report will show the number of people and how much they have given into Westline towards their retirement annuity when they give their report. So you'll have some idea of the number of participants out of the Virginia Annual Conference. That concludes my part.
Thank you. I have directed every presiding elder to collect the annuity payment for the ministers. The one thing I'm absolutely adamant on is that I want all of our ministers to benefit from this program, which was originally designed for them. When I was in the 6th district, until some decisions were made, I did not require the ministers to do that, because I would not require the ministers to participate in the program, in which I was not ensured that they would benefit was to be paid for them. But now that has taken place, I want all of our ministers to participate because, brothers and sisters, unfortunately, there is very little that the AME Church contributes to you. So the one thing it does, I want us to take advantage of. And I am very, very serious when it comes to the retirement of our ministers. Too many ministers work all of their lives because they're not in a position to retire. And I want you to retire with dignity. In the 6th District, because of this horrendous debacle. And that's exactly what it's been, a debacle. I had the 6th District pay the homegoing expense for about 5 of our ministers. Because I absolutely refuse to have folk who would serve this church not to have a dignified homegoing service because they could not get their funds. And so I want to make sure that all of our ministers are able to retire with some dignity. And I want to make sure that I don't want at least no minister under my leadership where the family is struggling to lay their loved ones to rest. So I'm asking the churches to see that the ministers who serve them have their annuities paid. All right. Any other questions?
Bishop, I make one other comment.
Yes.
I would say to the ministers from the day, the legacy fund, don't expect to see any money until September.
Well, I concur, probably right. Let me also say, and I don't know what the 2nd District situation is, I'm still trying to be brief, but I do know in the 6th District, and I believe in the 1st, if I'm correct, I know at least those 2, we also did have a system where when the loved one, when one of the ministers passes, their family benefited, and the district benefited. And I just again want to make sure that we do all that we can to benefit the servants of the church and as much as possible their families, because their families also sacrifice because their spouses are involved in ministry. All right, thank you, Reverend Boone. Statistical